Hey guys, and welcome to the overview video of the Restaurant AI agent template. So in this video, I want to go over the general layout of how everything works so you have a good knowledge on the backend and its processes. And along the way, I will try to explain as much things about the structure and also the reasons for certain approaches. Okay, so first of all, as you can see, we only have three flows. We have the AI agent replies, which is the advanced section of the AI agent, which only contains 7 nodes. Then we have the magic flow, the router 2.0, and we have the AI agent opt-in. So those are the three flows that we have, combining a total of 45 nodes, which is pretty insane for the amount of features that we have integrated inside of this template. So before I dive into the actual flows themselves, let's first go towards the AI agent because there is not much there to cover actually. So if we go towards the AI agents, restaurant agent, if we go inside, you will see a short description, which is not really relevant, but this is more of a summarization of the AI agent itself. That is pretty much what the functionality is. Then we have the settings. So what I always like to do with the AI agents, I like to keep them simple. I'm using OpenAI Chat Completions, the model GPT 4.1, and then under the parameters, I'm loading the preset of precise, which gives us the temperature of 0.2, penalties at 0.5, and then I also do the summarization of messages. I'm setting that to 50, but this is something that you will need to test yourself. Maybe certain conversations might take a little bit longer, and I base this on a single conversation with the AI agent because this kind of niche really needs to have the entire AI conversation, the entire conversation inside the chat history. So summarization can only happen after the conversation is done, because otherwise we will lose context about the card details, the product details, the categories, the reservation system, loyalty programs, and such cases. So I like to have that at 50. I think it's a safe number. But again, if something is not really replying as it should, you can always increase this value if you exceed those 50 messages between the user and AI agent. Now for the max tokens, I'm setting it to 3000 because we have quite some details that we need to process. So I really want to be safe and think 3K should be enough. The output format will just be text. That is completely fine. I'm actually not using Markdown or JSON that much at all. For the advanced mode, I have the advanced replies as mentioned inside the flow overview, where we're going to show a few for each steps regarding categories, regarding products, and so on. Then under the persona and role, we have a bot field. As you can see, it goes by the B in front of the custom field variable. That way you can identify a bot field. You can adjust that under the content settings and then bot fields, and you can adjust that towards your liking. I really have a simple description here, basically stating the name, which is Sabrina in this case, and then also a little bit of the tone of voice and stuff like that, but you can make it as detailed as you want to. Then for the skills, normally what you will see in AI agents is a skill set for every single feature that you might want the AI agent to cover, like business related questions, introductions, in this case, reservations, order and pickup, loyalty program, and so on, right? I like to do it more simplified because I see this prompt, this backend of the AI agent more as a routing system. I want to route everything towards one single AI function and the connected workflow, the router it's called, and I will show you that shortly, of course. That is where all the magic happens, and that is the power of the actual AI agent. Here you can see we have just a few steps. Step one is introductions. So Sabrina, in this case, is going to introduce themselves and also the restaurant. Again, you can also make this into a bot field if you want to. You do have variables here that you can use for that, just like with the persona and role, but just for the sake of this video and the template, I did it both ways. So one is inside the bot fields and one you can see here. And this is a little bit more visual for the skill sets, I think, at least. So she clearly communicates his role, her role, sorry. So her role in assisting customers with their shopping needs, example, and then everything post introductions Only after the introductions have been completed, when a user replies, Agent Sabrina always needs to trigger the function name named Restaurant Customer Journey. And this will be the function, not really that important. You could even delete all of this if you really wanted to. I just left it in because when creating an AI agent, I like to map out the details inside the function, but it is totally fine to leave it in if you want to. You can see that I only have one function. I don't have any product or service information. I also do not have any constraints. The reason why I'm not using the model responses, because the model responses open up tools where you can connect to MCP servers, you can connect towards your knowledge base that you can also directly integrate inside of UChat, and you can also do web searches. I like to have a little bit more control because I don't know what is exactly being searched there, and also I don't have any control about the output. So although these are great features, the control will be less. So for people that might want to have a really simple setup, right, and don't want to go more into details, connecting workflows and stuff like that, like flowless AI agents, this is a perfect option, okay? But for these kinds of AI agents, I really want to have more control. So I go with chat completions and then with the model for the moment of this recording, GPT 4.1. Please do not use GPT-5. I see a lot of people switching to the newest models as soon as they come out by OpenAI, but GPT-5 has a really, really big flaw, which is reasoning. And although it sounds really, really good, so it really thinks before replying, it also adds to more timeouts because it takes longer before a reply is being generated. And on an API basis, that is not an ideal solution, especially if it needs to process a lot of information that we will send them according towards cards, according towards products, categories, and so on. Okay, so it is best to keep it at GPT 4.1. You can always use inside of workflows GPT-5 related models for some logistic thinking and stuff like that. But personally, I don't use GPT-5 because it's not good inside of an AI agent setup. Okay, so I just want to clarify that because I see a lot of people having these GPT-5 models and it's just not the ideal solution. And it also increases your token size and with it your cost because it is using reasoning. So it processes more information, it runs multiple times and also increases your token cost that way. So just a quick tip, don't use it, okay? So that is the entire section. Now for the AI function, if we are taking a look at the restaurant, right? So we have the restaurant customer journey here. Inside, you will see that I have a really small description, and then I began to map out the various categories that I have because I wanted to have a customer status that the function is going to map the user with. Later on, I moved this towards the router, the connected workflow that you see here, but I just left it in. It's not really that important. You could also just leave everything out, right? And just say, okay, only map the customer status router, for example, and then go and trigger the function call. I left it in just for you to see, but you can also easily remove it and reduce the tokens that way. So totally up to you. For me, I just want to have one parameter name that I am going to map and save towards a specific section, and then I'm going to trigger a function call. And the reason for me to leave this in is I wanted to test the reliability of the AI function matching of the various categories and the one that I'm using inside the workflow that is connected, the router 2.0. And I found that the one inside the router is working more efficiently. So that is the reason, okay? So that is the function and that is a connected workflow. Then we also have various AI tasks, which I will go over when we go through that router setup. If we take a quick look inside the opt-in flow, what we have here is first we're going to fetch the products. And if we're going to take a look at the products themselves, so here we have the product section where we have sides, we have drinks, desserts, appetizers, main courses, and so on. And this is something that I'm going to fetch, okay? So I'm going to fetch the category, product list, price, and product description, and I am leaving the product images out, basically. Okay, so I only want to fetch the most relevant information, and I'm using this inside the FAQ section of the router. So any FAQ related sections that might need this, this information, then I'm going to use this. Inside the router, we have many other Google Sheet actions, but this is just something to not always fetch the exact same information if it's not needed. Okay, so that is what we are doing, and then we're going to send towards the AI agent. Now, for the output, the advanced section of the AI agent, we have 7 nodes. And basically what we do here is we are going to take a look if we need to show the category items. So if the user is ordering, we want to have the category items selected, as you can see here, and we're going to show them inside of a for each step. And if a category has been selected and we want to show products, then we're going with this option. And we also have the viewing of the cart, of course, because if the user wants to check out, we need to display the cart items, and that will be done here. Okay, and then we will forward towards the last AI agent reply, which will provide additional information about these generated gallery cards. Important step here is to always stop the AI agent. And the reason for this is that because we are using an advanced section, it is important to stop the AI agent, because every single time that a user replies, we are going to trigger the AI agent again using the default reply. Okay, so as you can see, we're going back towards the AI agent opt-in flow. Then the magical flow where everything happens, right? So almost 12 minutes now before we get into the actual magic. So if we take a look, the first step is an AI intent recognition, and this can be found under the action nodes, and then we can go towards AI actions, and then we have the AI intent recognition on the bottom. And it works really, really simple. We can add an intent like the ones that I already have, and then inside the edit action, we can define when each intent needs to be triggered. So it provides more reliability on the matched intents of the user themselves, right? So what we are going to do, we're going to pass the information of the conversation history between the user and AI agent, as well as the last text input. And then we have certain parameters, as you can see, show category, when does it need to be shown, or matched, when the user wants to order food or browse categories. Show category items, when the user says show menu items, or anything referring to multiple items within a category. Or mention something like, do you have something to drink, or show snacks, right? Then we are going with the show category items. Product search, when the user wants more info on a specific item, tell me more about this, or ask general item questions, such as, do you have this item? What's the price, or is this available? Then we're going to go with product search. And we did this for every single intent, basically, because that is just easier to do so. Sometimes we are going to add ones later, more guidelines later on, when we're testing and we see that the wrong intent is going to be matched. Then we're just adding another detail or another guideline at the bottom to be able to ensure that the next time we're going to test, or the next time a user runs live through it, that the correct intent is going to be matched. So that is the setup for this system. And for the intent recognition, the GPT 4.1 mini is proper enough, and also saves a little bit on cost. So we just went with this model. You can also make it just GPT 4.1. That is totally up to you. And sometimes you might need to switch if you suddenly see a lot of mismatches. Most times that is caused by OpenAI updating its models to the newest version. And with it, with the training data, it sometimes messes up the system prompt that we have. So that means that instead of knowing or going over the exact same parameters that have been given for months on end, those parameters are going to be processed differently and give different output results, right? So in that case, you will need to maybe test between different models, which gives the best ones, or add additional guidelines in order to prevent that mismatching from happening. It's not something that we can prevent on occasion, just something that we need to do and need to check whenever an error is happening, right? So it's a constant troubleshooting purpose, but it is something that we can troubleshoot within a few minutes in most cases. So that is the intent recognition. So we have quite a few, and a lot are based on the section for ordering and pickup or delivery. As you can see, show categories, show category items, product search, view cart, add to cart, remove from cart, and checkout all belong towards the order and pickup process. But instead of having multiple functions for each individual process, as you can see, because we often refer to the exact same nodes that we need to use, we can save a lot of nodes and we can save a lot of flows by just condensing them into one single function flow, and then save nodes, be more efficient, be more structured, because if we zoom out, you can tell me if this does not look like a structured setup. And if this would handle the order and pickup delivery system, the loyalty program sign up, and the calculation of the loyalty points, we have the business FAQ, we have the reservation system, we have the complete cart item also directly inside of these few nodes. And that's pretty crazy, right? It's really efficient. Everything is handled from this single flow. So if we take a look at each individual intent, we have the show categories. So what we are going to do is, this is really important, we are going to set the restaurant user status, and you will see that happening almost at every single section. Set customer user status, and in this case we're going to say show categories. Then the next step will be to check if the ordering already has been completed, yes or no. If no, we are first going to go into the ordering AI task, and inside this ordering AI task you can see we are going to present the ordering products, right? So those have been fetched prior and we don't have to fetch them every single time. Going to show them, display them towards this AI task. We are going to show the available conversation messages, the user's last text input, and then also the instructions that it needs to reply by. This is again a bot field that you can adjust, but that is something that you can do at your own preference. User info, if we have any info, we will also not ask for it again. We will show that inside of an AI task shortly. And then from there, this entire single AI task will basically capture all of the order details that need to be captured. If we take a look at the backend, so this will be restaurant ordering, right? So if we go towards the AI hub, AI task, and then go towards the restaurant ordering, you will see that we have a really detailed prompt here. So if we take a look at the prompt, we can see the user is wanting to order, and you as an ordering assistant need to process this order following the below guidelines. Then we have the introduction and order types. So explain the user you are happy to take their order. Then we need to determine whether they want to pick up the order or want to get it delivered. And we're going to set those values as the order type parameter, right? Then we have the ordering process, where we are going to go, once the order type is known, you're starting the order process by giving the user an overview of available categories. So those categories have been fetched prior from the main courses, appetizers, desserts, drinks, sides, and so on, right? So that is being fetched from the Google Sheet itself. Then from there, we are going, once the user has selected a category, you are to provide an overview of the available products that match that category. And then if a user wants to add a product to their cart, then you are to output each individual item on the parameter name cart in this format: product name hyphen quantity hyphen pricing. Then if a cart holds multiple product items, you are to separate them by comma separation like this. So we have one product here, product name, quantity, pricing, and then we have a comma, and then we have the second product, and so on, right? If a user wants to make changes to the cart, you are to adjust the cart items accordingly. Display the cart items along with their individual price as well as the current total. So this is actually perfect because we can use a single AI task for this to manage the cart details. Normally with Shopify WooCommerce integrations, you need to use first a calculation of the number of products. So ask the user, how many products do you want? Do you want to have this add-on? Do you want to have this add-on? And then we go towards another action where we're going to add the collected product details to the Shopify or WooCommerce cart. Then we need to display the cart items and also do a little bit more processing afterwards. Everything is now being handled inside of a single task. Then we have product recommendations. So you are to suggest fitting products from the ones we provide you with that complement the user's order products. So for example, the user is ordering, let's do two pieces of French fries, right? Then the AI agent might say and look at the available products. And for example, do you want to have ketchup with that, right? So if there is an add-on for ketchup, it might find that as a fitting recommendation, as a little bit of an upsell. And if the user says yes, then it will be added towards the cart as such. I think that's really, really good. If the user is asking for advice, you are to analyze the available products and suggest a specific product or product range that fits better. Then we have asking of questions. So we want to map each individual question that this AI task is asking for missing details into the parameter name next question. So we can map that and then send it towards the AI agent to ask. And then once a user is finished with their order, you are to thank the user for ordering and mentioning you need to register a few details in order to complete the order. Then we're going to collect the personal information. And as you saw on the front end inside the flow, we already give certain variables. And it's only going to ask for the missing ones. So if we already have the username and the phone number, it will not ask for that. It will only ask for the email, for example, right? So that is the way that works. Now, if the order type is takeaway, then the value takeaway under the parameter name needs to be saved. It needs to be saved under the parameter name user address. Sorry. If the order type is delivery, then ask the user their address and then save it in user address. Updating status. With each question and reply from the user, you are to update the user status, the ordering status. And if it's still in process for missing details like ordering, and if it's completed, we are going to set the status to complete, because then we can proceed towards the next step. And then we are matching all of the mentioned parameter names, right? Ordering status, complete, or ordering status, username, user email, phone number. We have all of those output fields to map, as you can see. And will provide this kinds of JSON in the front end. Now, if we go towards the settings, they are going to be really the same for all and every AI task. We have the GPT 4.1 model. We have the temperatures set at 0.19, but this can also be 0.2 with just a load preset of precise. So that's totally up to you. And for this, because the ordering takes in a lot of characters, we increase the maximum token size to 5,000, just to be safe, right? So that is how this ordering works. Then the next step will be to check if the restaurant card text has any value. If yes, we're needing to go towards this card details AI task, because if we take a look inside, you can see the input text is card. This is the card text. So that means that the previous AI task now outputted a few things that need to be inside of the card items. We are going to display the current card items, okay? And then we are going to let this AI task add this towards the total card items overview. So if these are other card items that have not been added towards the card just yet, it will add them. If it contains remove vegetarian lasagna one time or something like that, it will remove it from this card detail entirely. So the next step would be to save the new card items, the generated card items, as the new restaurant card JSON field. And for the next step, we're going to check if that has been processed, if the ordering status has been set to complete. If yes, we're going to create the order and fetch the points, the loyalty points, if the user has any, right? And then go towards this step. But if the card details or the ordering status is not completed yet, we are going to ask the next question for the AI agent. As you can see, info for the AI agent will be the next question that has been generated by this AI task. And then we're going to go towards the function result node, where we're only going to refer towards this custom field. And this custom field is going to be set at every single step. As you can see here, we have another one, set custom field for AI agent to next question. As you can see, next question or the total card details. So every single time that we are going to use this action, we only have to have one single AI function result node, because we're going to use these actions to basically tell the AI agent what it needs to reply with, right? This is basically a call to action for the AI agent, and then this node is being used to instruct the AI agent to do so. Now, if we go back, if the order status has been set to complete, the ordering has been completed and the user wants to check out, we're going with the restaurant order creator. Now, if we take a look inside this one, if we say test request, then you will see that we get the order, the price, and the order ID back. As you can see, it's completely auto-generated. It will, we are going to map this with the order ID, the order total pricing, and then the order details. And this will be used to add that towards the Google Sheet. So if we take a look at the Google Sheet, the orders, then you will see it will be sent in this kind of format. So fettuccine Alfredo times 2, comma separated, iced tea times 3. And then if you have anything more, then it will be added as such, right? And then we have the delivery type, takeaway or delivery, which is going to be generated as well. So we have the data order, the price, and order ID, but the actual type, what we have, right? Let's see, where do we have it? The actual type will then be set differently because we already captured that in the ordering detail task. So if we go towards the restaurant ordering, then you will see that we already capture the order type here, and that is the one that we are going to use at the placing of the order itself. Okay, so that is the way that that is being used. Now, if we created the order details, we're going to go and get a row from the AI agent. And you can see we're going towards the worksheet, loyalty program, sign up, and points. And we're going to filter based on the customer's email because we fetched the email. And now we want to see, does the user already exist here? If yes, we're going to fetch the available loyalty points, as you can see, because we need that for the order calculation. If not, as you can see here, loyalty points gained has value. If no, we're going here, set loyalty program enrollment to false. And then it goes towards the next step, the loyalty program details. And otherwise, if it's set to true, right, it's not going to ask anymore to sign up for the loyalty program, but instead it's going to do the calculations directly. Now, inside of this AI task, if we take a look at the restaurant loyalty program post checkout, you will see that we are going to pass whether or not the user has been signed up, yes or no. It depends on the order in the backend of this prompt to either request if they want to sign up, yes or no. If so, take all the user's details and then calculate the points. Then we have the order total that we are going to pass from the cart totals, loyalty points, and user's last input along with the conversation history. Then we're going to map a few things. The next question to ask the user, the restaurant order new total, the loyalty points gained, the restaurant user loyalty status, and the new total points, along with the user's loyalty program sign up. Now, the way this looks at the back end, so if we take a look there, so we need to go towards the post checkout, right? So we went through the ordering process. Now we come towards the post checkout where we want to check whether or not the user has signed up for the loyalty program. So here we will take a look. The user has completed an order and you as a loyalty program assistant need to process loyalty enrollment, redemption, and rewards calculation using the below guidelines. So first we're going to check whether or not the user has already enrolled on the loyalty program. So if they are added towards this list. If the value is false, then you are to ask the user whether they would like to register. If the value is based on the user's response, you are to save the yes or no under the parameter name loyalty program enrollment. So the next step, if the value of loyalty program enrollment is true, you will be provided 2 additional input values, total order value and availability loyalty points. You are to ask the user whether they would like to redeem their available loyalty points. If the user chooses to redeem them, you are to subtract the available loyalty points from the total order value. Save the resulting value under the parameter name new order total. If the user chooses not to redeem their loyalty points, you are to save the original total order value under the parameter name new order total. So that basically means that you are either going to deduct the calculated loyalty points from the total order, and if the user says, okay, I don't want to redeem at this point, just keep the order total as is. Then we're going inside the awarding loyalty points. So once the final order is determined, you are to calculate the awarded loyalty points. So the loyalty points formula is as follows, and this is something that you can adjust according towards your own preference or that of your restaurant client. So what we said is for every $10 of order value, award 5 loyalty points. Partial amounts below $10 do not award additional points. Save the calculated loyalty points under the parameter name awarded loyalty points. And those are the parameter names that we have all below this section, right? Then we are going to go with updating loyalty points balance. So add the awarded loyalty points to the user's existing one. Save the resulting value under the parameter name new loyalty points. Ask questions. So for each question, output it under the parameter name next question. This is pretty much the same for every single AI task. And then once all loyalty related actions are completed, you are to inform the user that the loyalty process has been completed successfully. So that is basically it. Either ask a question or have a confirmation message. After everything is completed, save the value completed under the parameter name loyalty status. So that is something that we will check under the router inside the workflow. And then note, always display the current loyalty points if they are not 0 and the given order total. And once all the process is completed, inform the user that their order is currently being processed and thanks for placing the order. No need to mention the line that loyalty process is completed and stuff like that. For the model, we are going to use a GPT 4.1 parameters preset for precise. And what I like to do is to increase the token size to 3000 to have enough understanding of all of the order details, the loyalty points processing, and so on, right? So this is the back end of this task. Now, if we are going to take a look here, the next step would be to check whether or not the loyalty status has been set to completed. If yes, then we go and make entries. If no, we're going to ask the next question towards the AI agent and then send them towards this function result output. Now, if it is completed, we are going to do 2 Google Sheet actions. The first one is to insert a row. As you can see, we're going to insert the order, and we're going to do that by appending the new row to the bottom. So every new order will be appended towards the bottom. So a new order comes in this way. If you like to do it on top, you can also do so, of course. We're going to just fill in all the names. So the username, the phone number, the restaurant order, the order type, the order ID, the order new total, the bot current time, and what the status of the order is. In this case, it's pending, of course. And that will result in this kind of setup. So we have the username, the phone number, the order, the type, the order ID, and the total. And then, of course, the timestamp and the status itself. So that is the first Google Sheet. Then the second Google Sheet action is to upsert a row. And that means, upsert means that you are either going to update an existing row if it's matched with the filter, in this case, the customer email. So if we are going to take a look here, we have a customer email and we are going to search based on that. So if it's being matched, that row, going to update all the fields. And if it's not matched, it means it's going to go and append a new row to the bottom in this case. So if a certain custom field is not matched here, then it's going to add a new row to the bottom with all the available informations. Okay, so that is how the upsert row works, which is better than just updating a row, because if the filter mismatches and there is no match found, then it will just insert a new row and you don't lose any data. For me, this is more valuable than an update row. The next step is to also use the next question to send either the next question detail towards the user. And in this case, because everything has been finalized, we are going to mention that their order will be ready for them soon and that will be transferred towards the AI agent. So that is how this process goes. Now for the next part. So the next step is the show category items. So if we take a look inside the fetch category items, we will get multiple rows from the AI agent where we are now going to get all the products. The only thing that we are going to return are the categories, because the next step will be to identify the JSON or the category itself. So we are first going to fetch all the available categories, and it will fetch something like this, right? Because we are just fetching everything from this product overview. So appetizers, multiple main courses, and so on. And what this does, this simple AI task, let's say the user input is something to drink, please. If we say test request, then it will match one single category, in this case drinks, which corresponds with the multiple options that we have here. And that will be the category drinks, right? So that is the way that that works. I'm going to save this. And then the next step will be to do another Google Sheets action. We're going to get the products, but now we're going to have the category already selected. So now that we know that the category is drinks in the example case, by using this custom field, we're now returning every single category item. And we're going to match the first 50 rows, and then add that towards the category items JSON field. The next step, as you can see, we will then go and basically go back towards all of these condition checks to see what we are going to need to be displayed, and so on. So the only difference between the show categories and the show category products is the order of processing. The next step would be to have a product search. So if the user says, do you have any vegetarian products, right? Then this section is almost the exact same. It will then search through the available categories. It will first then grab the matching products and so on. So if we going to go with the product search, then we are going to fetch all the available products directly by product name only. So only wanting to go with the product name, because often the vegetarian in this case is already inside the product name itself, right? So only going to fetch all the product names, and also reducing the character size, because in UChat you have a 20,000 character limit for storing it inside of a single JSON file. So everything that we can do to minimize and compress the data is of course advised. So we're going to go with the product name. Then the AI task is going to go and process the selected product itself, right? So the way this works, if we take a look under this AI task, is, as you can see, JSON identifier. So it's either going to identify the category or it's going to identify the product itself. And you can also see we're going to map it differently, although the task is the same. As you can see here, under the categories, we're going to go with saving it towards the selected category, and otherwise we are going and choose and save the selected product. The next step is to set a custom field here, show product search under the user status, and then we're going with the filter product name contains this selected product instead of category name is this selected category. Going to return all the product searches for the first 50 rows matched, and then we're going towards the exact same steps. As you can see, everything routes back to the top. We're going to check, is the order status complete? No. Then we're going into the ordering status overview, where we're going to show either all the categories or all the matched products that way. And that is a really good way to have these three work together, because we are sharing the exact same nodes and the exact same process every single time. So no need to have additional functions, additional function workflow set up, as we can do it directly here, which is much more efficient. The next step, if we take a look, we are having a few cart items, right? But before going there, let's actually go towards this JSON item identifier, because I think it's important for you to understand that as well. So if we go with JSON item identifier, you can see it here. Let's take a look, and it will be as such. So really simple prompt here. You will be provided a JSON and a user input. Your job is to take the user input and search through the provided JSON and match the item inside the JSON which closely resembles the user's input. For example, if the provided JSON is category starters, sides, and main, and the user input is dinner, then you should output main, as it's the one closely related. And then it will output this item and then go towards that step. Now, in order to have a good, solid, stable result every single time, you could also switch the model here to GPT 4.1. So it cannot hurt really. And under the parameters, we are going with the load preset of precise, and then we are going to increase it slightly, the token size to 700. It a little bit depends on how much information you are going to store inside your JSON field. So if it's hundreds and hundreds of lines, then you might need to increase the token size a little bit more, but in most cases it's not really needed. Okay, so that is how the JSON identifier works, just to have a little bit of reference according to that. Now, if we take a look at the cart status, you'll see that for viewing the cart, we're only going to set the status to view cart, right? And then we're going back up all the steps, and those statuses, as mentioned inside the advanced replies, reflect here. So if the condition is view cart or contains almost final, Then it goes towards this step and just displays everything. Okay, all the cart items. As you can see here, the restaurant cart JSON field displays everything and then has the initial call to action. Okay, so that is why these categories remain, or these user statuses are so important, because before sending the AI agent reply, we want to show the for each step. Now, on certain channels like WhatsApp, the for each step might not work, right? So in order to prevent that, you could also have a condition in front of this that checks which channel the user is interacting from. If it's WhatsApp, skip this step and go directly towards this AI agent reply instead. And for every other channel that supports for each gallery cards, because WhatsApp stacks them from top to bottom instead from left to right. So it's not really a good experience, especially if you have gallery cards with maybe 50 products, right? So then you will stack them all from top to bottom at the same time, which is a really bad user experience. So in order to combat that, you might have a condition step that you can have in between here. Just for your reference, I'm not going to add it right now, but you can use the condition. Let's go with channel, and the channel will then be WhatsApp. Or you could say any of the following conditions: channel is WhatsApp, or channel is WhatsApp Cloud, right? So you connect it here, and then if it's that either of those channels, you will go directly towards this step, and otherwise you will go towards this step, right? Because other channels are able to show gallery cards properly, and that way you will be able to provide the best experience on an omni-channel type of setup. I will just go towards this step and delete this one, but I just want to show you that it is possible to bypass this step as well if you really need it. Okay, so again, WhatsApp is not the best way to show gallery cards in that format. Single product names, that is fine. You don't have to do that condition check for this one, because a single gallery card will show properly inside of WhatsApp as well. But just for multiple product items, it's not really advised, as well as for the card items. Okay, so that is just something that I want to make clear, that you can add those values in. Now, if we go back towards the router, then of course, let's zoom in again. We have the viewing of card. We also have the card processing, so remove from card. So again, we're using the exact same JSON identifier, but now if we take a look here, we're going to go with the restaurant selected product again, which we want to remove. Then we're going to state restaurant status is removed from cart. And then we're also going to remove the item by value. So what we're going to do here, we have the restaurant cart JSON field, which has product name, product image, product price. And now it's going to check the text value for product, a selected product. So let's say the selected product is lasagna. It will check the restaurant cart JSON field for a product name called lasagna, and then it will remove it directly. Okay, so that is the way that this will then be removed from the cart item itself. And again, it will use the exact same conditions, checks, and stuff like that to see if the order has been completed, if the cart needs to be viewed, or anything else. The next step would be to add items to the cart, and it's pretty similar as well. So to add items to the cart, we're still going to use a Google Sheets. We're going to fetch all the available products only by name. So that will be the section, using the JSON identifier again to then use that to save the selected product of the user. We're going to use another Google Sheet action, or we're going to set the custom field user status to add to cart. And then we're going to use another Google Sheet action, as you can see, to search for that specific product. So product name contains, and then we're going to fetch the product name, the product image, and the product price as return columns. And then we're going to map those, okay? Because we need those values to remove the item or add the item towards the cart. When that is done, we're going to insert that item towards the cart itself. So you can see we want to have this JSON then be added as an item. This will be one item: product name, product image, and product pricing. And then we'll insert those values inside the cart item that way. And then we go right on top again and go through all those condition checks to see if the ordering is being completed, yes or no. The next step will be for reservations. So reservations is also part of this AI agent. And what we are going to do this is we are going with the fetching of available time slots. And we did so inside of a Google Sheet because starting out, this is a pretty manageable system for most restaurants. If they don't have any specific software for that you can connect to, then a lot of restaurants will just have a series of date and times, time slots available, and then the number of seats and the availability, right? So this is basically a really basic setup for a reservation system. But sometimes you cannot really use a Calendly or a Cal.com for this because you could have multiple of the same time slots, right? And a Calendly or a Cal.com only returns a single time slot for that specific time. So if you make a reservation, then those two will automatically be booked off, right? So you cannot view those anymore. So that is where the Google Sheet is a little bit more handy. Or if you can connect towards a better system, then you can replace the Google Sheet with that instead. We use the Google Sheet. We're going to fetch the available reservation time slots by the filter availability. So if we take a look here, available, and we are only going to fetch the time slots that have this status, available. So we're going to save the date, the time slots, and the seats into this JSON field. Then we're going towards the next step, where we're going to first set the restaurant user status to reservation intent, and then we're going towards booking status capture. So inside of this task, if we take a look, we are going to provide a few details. So reservation slots, once date is decided, always show time slots. Going to display all the ones that we just fetched from the Google Sheet. Then we have the user last input, last text input, and then we also pass the rest of the conversation by using this toggle. We have the user information. If it's present, it will not ask for this information. And we have some persona guidelines. Okay, then we're going to basically capture all of these details that will be able to be mapped accordingly. Now, if we take a look at the back end of this, so if we go towards the reservation booking, restaurant reservation booking, so let's go towards restaurant. So easy to filter through. So let's go towards the restaurant booking reservation. And if we take a look inside, you will see a really guided, detailed guideline. So inside we have the introduction and reservation. So this is the introduction towards the reservation system. Then we have the selection process. So start the reservation process by displaying an overview of available dates. Then once the user has selected the date, for that selected date, please display the date in days, months, and year format. For example, the 12th of December 2025 in a list manner. Once the user selects a time slot, you are displayed the available seats for that specific date and time when displaying the slots. Display them in a list manner as it's easier for users to see and select. Don't ask for seats separately. You need to display the seats, a little bit more of a guideline that you show the available date and time along with the available seats, because otherwise it might get mixed and matched, which is not a good selection. Then we will have when the user selects a seat, you are to save the selected date, time slot, and seat under the parameter name reservation details in this format: date, time slot, and seat. If the user wants to change the selected date, time slot, or seat, you are to update the reservation details accordingly. Display the current reservation details back towards the user for confirmation. Once they confirmed, then we are going to select or capture the user's details, as you can see inside of this prompt. So we're going to go with the user's email, user's phone number, user's name, additional notes. So as an example, I, for example, say, don't give me any products with nuts in them because I'm allergic to them. Then they will that will be an additional note being displayed on the reservation itself. The next step will be to ask questions. As mentioned, every AI task will have that next question parameter to either ask for the next missing detail or provide a confirmation message. Once all required reservation details and user information are collected, you are to thank the user and inform them that the reservation is being finalized. So that is the way that system works. Then we will have the update reservation status. With each question and reply from the user, you are to update the reservation status. So either we are still booking, so we are missing details, or we set the status to, as you can see, complete. That means that we can proceed towards the next step. Once the reservation status is changed to complete, inform the user with a summary of the booking and tell them their booking is confirmed. Again, additional guidelines only ask for missing details. So if we go back into the flow section, then if these details already exist, right, from a prior booking, interaction, or whatever, then we're not going to ask for that again. Okay, so that is the reason why we have that additional guideline, to be able to skip those questions, because it's quite annoying to constantly ask for the same email, the same username, especially when the user interacts from a web chat, right? Then you don't need to have that anymore. The next step, as mentioned, we are going to check if the user has set the AI task has set the reservation status to complete. Sometimes we also got confirm, but we can of course prevent that, but for some reason it was not working at the time. So we added that in as a condition step as well. If no, we're going to set the info for AI agent to next question, because we are going to ask for the missing details, and then go towards this function result to ask for those details again. If it's set to complete, that means that we need to enter the new reservation into the Google Sheet. So we're going to update a row in the Google Sheet. In this case, we cannot use obsert because we cannot add an additional time slot that is not there, right? So we really need to update an existing one. So that is the reason why we're going to go with an update row. Going to go with the spreadsheet reservations. We need to match all of these filters because we selected them from the JSON that we imported from the reservation worksheet at the same time. So we should be able to match all of these filters, and then we're going to update them with the reservation status. So instead of available, it will then become reserved, right? And then we're going to match the customer name, the customer email, phone number, and additional notes. I'm going to add that as the Google Sheet. Going to set the custom field for the AI agent, mention to the user that a table has been reserved. And then that will go back towards the AI agent again. So that is the entire ordering system. Now we have the FAQ for the loyalty program, because it could also mean that a user is going to ask questions about the loyalty program outside of the ordering system. So we need to have a separate section for that as well. And this handles asking for any questions as well as signing up as well. So let's get into the FAQ section. So the FAQ loyalty program, if we take a look under the Google Sheets, then you will see that we are going to fetch the FAQs regarding the loyalty program. Now I only have two. You can customize them towards your own liking, of course, but these will be fetched and then will be saved inside the restaurant FAQ JSON. The next step will be to set the custom field status to loyalty program sign up intent. The reason why we're doing this and not using all of those statuses inside the advanced reply is also for troubleshooting purposes, to see if the intent recognition all the way at the beginning, as we can see here, has been triggered the right intent, right? So that is the reason why we're also going to save all of those statuses for troubleshooting purposes. So the next step will be to go towards the AI task, and under the AI task, we are going to give all the FAQ replies. So the AI task knows how to answer them. Also going to give user information, because this also allows the user to directly sign up using this AI task. We are going to include the conversation thus far, along with the user last input and also the persona guidelines. And then we will have the next question mapped, the loyalty status, the phone, the email, and the username once they sign up. Now, if we take a look at this task on the back end, so let's go towards the what is called the loyalty pre-checkout, right? So if we go towards the pre-checkout, we will see that it is a detailed prompt, not too much. So the user is interacting with the loyalty program, and you as a loyalty sign-up assistant need to handle enrollment and related questions following the below guidelines. So first of all, the loyalty program sign-up intent. So you are to determine whether or not the user wants to sign up. If the user confirms they want to sign up, you are to proceed with collecting the information and save the user's decision under the parameter name loyalty intent with the value yes or no. Then we will have required information collection. So if the user wants to sign up, we need all of these details, and it will be saved under the username, email, and phone number. Then we have FAQ handling. FAQ handling will states you will be provided a JSON input, which we saw on the front end, right, which we fetch from the Google Sheet, containing frequently asked questions and answers related towards the loyalty program. If the user asks any questions related towards the loyalty program, you are to answer it strictly using the provided FAQ JSON. If a question cannot be answered using the FAQ JSON, you are to inform the user that the information is not available and offer to continue the sign-up process. So just not to lose the potential lead, still try and basically guide the user towards signing up anyway, right? It's free, you collect free points and so on. Asking each questions, again, the next question for missing details needs to be saved under the next question parameter name, and otherwise the confirmation step. Update sign-up status. Throughout the interaction, you are to track the status and save it as such. So either in progress or completed. And these are values that you can also set on the list of values. So if for any reason there are different kinds of statuses or values saved, right? What you can also do, I've mentioned this in a few other videos as well, but you can enable the list of values here and then just have those values as comma separated values. So we have one in progress and then comma separate completed. This means that this specific parameter name will never have anything else other than either of these two values, which you basically have a little bit more control over which one you want to save. Okay, so that is something that you could do if the values are not stored as per your prompt guidelines. Now for the model, we are using GPT 4.1. Parameter names or parameter load presets are the precise, which will load that 0.2 as well. For the max tokens, we increased it to 3,000 because it's a little bit depending on the number of FAQs that you also bring into this AI task. 3,000 is a safe space. It's not stating that it needs to use them. It's just a max token size. Okay, so that is that section. Now, once it's set to completed, we're going to insert a row towards the AI agent restaurant. And if we take a look, we're going to append a new row towards the bottom and then insert the user with their new credentials into this sign-up process. What you could also do is give them beginning points, for example, 10 points or something like that, to incentivize the sign-up itself, to get starting points already. Maybe already have a small discount upon their first order. So that is something that you could do. That works really, really well to increase the conversion rate on signups. So that is something that you might also want to include inside the prompt. Then we're going to set the next question, of course, towards the AI agent to reply with. The last section will be the Smalltalk FAQ. And for that, we have the business information. I just generated a bunch of random questions, but these will be fetched from the Google Sheet action that we have here. As you can see, business information, don't have any filters. We're only going to return the columns for description as we don't really need the topics, right? Really, really simple. We're going to set the user status to Smalltalk to at least save the intent status that from the intent recognition. And then we're going to set the info for AI agent as following. Answer the user's inquiry based on the following information. And the following information is this description process. So we give the AI agent a little bit more freedom to reply based accordingly, right? Instead of matching one single description, we're going to forward everything because some FAQs might be combined as such. So for example, are pets allowed? It could contain multiple things. So could contain, yes, pets are allowed, but only on the outdoor patio, right? Instead of also indoors. Or we also have a designated safe zone for pets, or pets are also allowed inside or something like that. You might have multiple lines regarding pets, and then the AI agent can combine those values together in a single reply. So this was the overview of the AI restaurant agent. Again, I think it's a really structured way of providing a really comprehensive AI agent, especially if you compare it with the one without the AI that I created about 2 years ago, I believe. And this is much more efficient. If we take a look at the number of nodes, 45 nodes in total, that make up for this entire feature set, which I still find incredibly amazing that it can be done like this with just a few notes, that you can have those AI tasks as complete extensions of your AI agents by giving them the exact same persona and so on. If you have any questions, do let me know. I hope you enjoy this new template as a CMA member. If you're not a CMA member and you are interested in grabbing this template, do provide a comment down below this video. I know it's a long one, but it shows you the potential of how a restaurant AI agent can work also for your clients or your restaurant itself. Again, if you have any questions, also let me know down in the comment section. For now, I'm wishing you a really great day, and I will talk to you really, really soon. Take care.